Welcome to another episode of the Accidentally Fit podcast with your host, Joe Hashey. And today I am joined by Laura over at IronWorks. IronWorks is another Broome County gym right down the road from our Binghamton location. And they've done an excellent job for their members during the time of communicating and keeping spirits up during the pandemic, and also getting them back and getting them engaged. So I want to give them a nod and an opportunity to share some tips and hear some other like minds in the fitness community. Welcome, Laura.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Joe.
I appreciate you doing it right from your gym. For those watching on YouTube, mask and all. So she's dedicated to making sure it's happening. If you hear a little clanging, that's good. That's people working out in the background.
Absolutely. And yeah, got to keep the mask on.
That's right. So today, Laura is going to share a couple tips with us on how we can stay fit, stay motivated, build healthy habits, whatever is on her mind. So as someone I respect in the community, I thought she'd be perfect to have on and let her go. Laura, what's up first?
All right. Number one, and super simple, but most often overlooked, in my opinion, is staying hydrated. And especially this time of year, as it starts cooling down, we're not sweating as much, we don't feel thirsty as often. And for people like me who tend to run a little bit cold, drinking cold water all day just makes you feel even colder. So it's something that you are not automatically inclined to do. So tips on that: one, just being aware of it. And so kind of first thing in the morning, making it a priority. And number two is finding what works for you as far as, say herbal tea or anything like that, just so that you're actually getting that fluid intake in, and ideally low calorie or no calorie fluid intake, so that you stay hydrated even though, it's not hot, you don't feel thirsty, but making it so that you're recovering faster and staying alert, feeling good.
About how much water do you recommend people get compared to their body size?
So I tend to drink more than the average person. My minimum is a gallon a day, and I often do up to a gallon and a half. But for most people, if you haven't already been conscious of your fluid intake, starting out with just 1 ounce per half pound of body weight, or I should say half an ounce per pound of body weight, is a very good spot to start, and then gradually working up. That is another, I won't say error, but one thing that will put a lot of people off to trying to get hydrated is they'll immediately go to 1 ounce per pound of body weight and end up just overhydrated, running to the bathroom constantly, and their body doesn't have time to adapt.
I really like that you point out the seasonality of it, because I haven't really talked about the cold weather, because I'm a huge water drinker, but you need to think of perspective of the members, that things that are easy to do are often easy not to do as well. And water is something, water and sleep I always talk about, but water primarily, they just say, hey, gotta drink more water. But it's so abstract, they don't know what it is. So I like the formula. We use that same one. We say take your body weight, divide it in half, and then find your favorite cup, figure out how many ounces it is, and then figure out how many cups you need to have a day to take something that's an abstract concept and say, I need to have 8 of whatever these glasses are. So you actually do it and hold yourself accountable for something that is fairly easy. And we often talk about front loading it a little bit, rehydrate in the morning, because people are worried. I get the thing, I don't know if you hear this, Laura, over at your spot, but we hear, well, I'm going to be up all night peeing. And that's a real concern. I like sleep, so just plan your water a little different.
Yeah, the earlier you start, the easier it is. And I have friends who actually ended up cutting down on their coffee intake when they started doing just 8 ounces of water before they have any coffee in the morning. And just easy for them to do, gets them off on the right track.
Beautiful. What's your second tip?
All right, second tip is physical, as far as moving your body, and in line with a lot of your philosophies, just finding something you enjoy. So physical movement does not have to be quote unquote exercise, whether it's taking your dog for a walk, whether it's actually doing push-ups in between steps in cooking breakfast or lunch or dinner, or if it's, taking a dance class, learning something new. A lot of people kind of, I think, won't avoid exercise, but they won't know where to start because they either don't feel comfortable going to a gym, whether that's pre-COVID and just having insecurities, or during COVID not quite being ready to come back, or just not wanting to wear the mask. But there's so many things that you can fit in during the day. and just finding the time, whether it's having that half hour dedicated, blocked off, or maybe you do 10 squats when you first get up, you know, walk to your car, you park that little bit further from the grocery store. Whatever works for you is the best way to do it. So there's no right answer as far as how to move your body or how to fit it in.
Great points. A few weeks ago, we did a challenge with members where it was their water challenge. And then as a reminder, you had to do 10 push-ups every time you had to go to the bathroom. So they got it on
Nice.
both sides. It was very conscious drinking and exercise, get some other activity in. But when someone asks what's the best exercise, well, it depends, because if you want to do it for a while, it has to be something you enjoy, or it depends on your goals. So the answer is fluid compared to what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. And Laura's right, starting small is a great idea so you don't burn out. If you put so much stock into training for 2 hours a day and you're a starter, you're probably going to be crippled for 22 hours a day, and that's not really enjoyable.
Absolutely. Yeah, the all or nothing mentality is, I think, a lot of people's worst enemy, where it's not all or nothing, you do something.
I'll confess this to you, Laura, and the people listening. You mentioned dance class. I didn't take a dance class, but I took a baton class in like the last 2 years. I was sweating so
Nice.
hard, like the wrist and elbow mobility. It was like a creative thinking baton twirling workshop. It was really strange, but it was good exercise. You can find stuff out there that is a fit for your style.
Absolutely. And good for you for getting outside of the box.
I wasn't that good at it, and I need more baton practice. What's your third one, Laura?
All right. The last one, and this relates a little bit more to mental or emotional well-being. Sometimes we all get stuck, and whether it's not feeling like we can figure out how to start a workout routine or a nutrition plan, or just, hey, how to do the dishes and get going that day. Focusing externally on something you can do for somebody else, or just getting out of your own head, is a great way to break through that barrier. I think many of us tend to get stuck if we're just focused on ourselves and what we need to do. And sometimes that best starting point is just to say, hey, what can I do for somebody else? Whether it's writing a letter, an email, or sending a text to somebody, letting them know that they matter. Shifting your mindset to something more positive and external is a great way to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I think you do two things on it. First, you can give yourself credit for what you're doing already instead of what you're lacking. And then the second thing is, we talk about a lot for those on YouTube. I have my gratitude shirt on today, being thankful for things that are going well. So you're acknowledging what you're doing well. You're being thankful for what's going well, and how you can help others, whether, like Laura said, it's a simple text message, but it's that personal communication and what you can do to have that healthy human emotion of gratitude or a little bit of altruism. Because, you know, even when things seem tough, there are things you can still do. And like this month is No Shave November. I know Laura's partner, Dickie, is doing this. I am doing it as well. For those who've been laughing at my mustache all month, I thought this would be a good way to finish the month, because they're participating in the fundraiser too. And so I wanted to make sure we mentioned that before we got off the call. Laura, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So No Shave November is geared towards both education and also facilitating research regarding cancer treatment and awareness. I think at this point, almost everybody has somebody in their life who's been impacted, whether it's themselves directly, a friend, or a family member. Dickie's parents both were diagnosed with and have beaten cancer within the past decade. And he attributes that to the fact that research and development of treatment have come as far as they have in recent history.
That's an excellent explanation. I can think of 8 of our members right off the top of my head who have had or have cancer currently, are one that is going through chemo treatment. And it's an area that's just so wide and needs so much. There's just so much difference across the board, and it's going to be a continuing effort. And when I saw Laura sharing some of the posts that Dickie had this month, I thought that this would be a cool platform to discuss it, because it's something that I was doing. but let's send him Dickie's way because he's participating in the fundraising effort as well. So what I'll do is put a link to his fundraising page in the podcast description. So anyone who's interested in checking it out, highly recommend it. And we greatly appreciate it because so many people's life art is touched by this. So I really appreciate you bringing that up, Laura.
Absolutely. And yeah, just anything anyone is able to do is good. Again, getting outside of our own comfort zones, getting outside of our own just heads on what's going on for us, and being able to do something for somebody else, whether it's somebody we know or just helping advance efforts in general, is a great thing.
Absolutely. So Laura, thank you so much for coming on the show, bringing awareness to it. And again, it's IronWorks, which is real close to our Binghamton gym up there. Is it Shenango Bridge? Is that?
Yes, technically Hillcrest.
Hillcrest.
So
I get confused over there a little bit. But listen, we both own gyms in the area, and some things like discussing healthy habits and raising everyone's fitness level, raising awareness is so much more important than quote unquote being competitors. And I really appreciate Laura being willing to come on and share those tips, and we can share this platform with her because we truly do believe that a rising tide lifts all ships. So we are here to help out. And in the fitness industry, we've been through a lot, and I love to see how well you've done, Laura, in bringing everyone back for your community. So great job, and appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Joe, and same to you.